Hello and welcome to a special episode of Backchat. I say special, it's always special. Every episode's special.
Every episode's special.
Because we've got a unique guest on every time. This week we've got Boaster. Thanks for joining us, Boaster. Thank you for coming onto the show and giving us your time as well. And we're going to be diving into all sorts of topics. How you been? How you doing?
Doing pretty well. You know, had Christmas and New Year break, but back on the grind. And there's been some dirty comp changes and stuff, so we'll see. Yeah.
That is exciting. I can't help but notice that we're all in very drab blues and blacks and greys, and then we've got bright yellow Boaster representing Sweden.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd known the memo of black jumpers, I got one right there. Maybe I just pop that on because I'm like a beacon right now.
No, I like it.
It doesn't really
work
with my pale face either, so it's like...
It shows who the star of the show is.
Yeah.
So have you guys still been practicing with all the off time? Because there's not really much going on in Europe between First Strike and Challenger starting. Still team going hard?
Yeah. So we started roughly 2 weeks ago, and it was mainly we've actually done a few like comp swaps. So like I was watching VODs over Christmas anyway and New Year's because like you never really have a break if as an IGL. But we've been grinding hard just because of like all the Riot tournaments incoming and stuff. I don't know when they are, but I know that there are some Riot tournaments incoming, so got to make sure we're ready at any point.
God, isn't that just like Europe in a nutshell as well? You're like, I don't know when the next tournament is, but I'm sure there will be one, so I'm excited to play in them. Whereas NA's just getting them forced down their throat on a regular basis.
Yeah. I mean, NA's just had a tournament literally, well, I'd say today, like yesterday and stuff. I can't remember which one it is, NSG or something, right?
Yeah.
It's been,
I've been watching that, but...
been quite unfortunate for EU overall. I think we've got a bunch of topics we're going to go over, but the first thing we really want to jump into is talking about SUMN and the team that you play for and the group of guys you play alongside as well, because you have some interesting backgrounds in terms of where you guys come from. And you guys, you're not signed. Like you guys are all just literally, you're competing at the highest level in European Valorant, not signed to an org, defying all odds. It's quite an interesting backstory.
Yeah, I mean... it's been a bit of a mad one. So before like Valorant was released, I was working as a vlogger for Excel in just League of Legends, and I was like kind of like a substitute sixth for the League of Legends LEC team as well. So I was like doing that on the side, and then Valorant came out. I was like, I've always wanted to be a pro player, so I was like, I want to play Valorant. Like this seems like my sort of game. Like I can't really be a pro in CSGO, so maybe I could be a pro in this. And I think that's what a lot of people thought. So as long as you work hard, you probably will be rewarded if you're like skillful or talented enough. And that's my background. Then you got my boys, Doma, Mystic, and Mo. They all came from Fortnite, so I have to teach them a lot of basics and fundamentals that you don't get from that game. And then you got Chuck, who I knew from CSGO back in the day. In the UK scene, he competed with me, played in a few teams and all that jazz. And we thought he'd suit quite nicely as well. And with Coach Mini as well. So Coach Mini been around in CSGO, the UK scene for years, really, as a player and then as just a kind of like person in the scene. And he's very smart. And our two brains meshed together creates quite a nice dynamic for the boys, and there you have it. We get to the finals of First Strike and we bottle it versus Heretics. Nice.
There's a summed up history. That's everything you need to know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
So how long have you guys been playing together now? Like how did it come together with all the various backgrounds?
So originally, TSAC wasn't in the original team, so I made a team with Mini, and it took us, I think I trialed like 25 players over like 2 weeks and stuff, and then slowly it went down to Doma, Mystic, Mo, and a player called Dinks, who was from Russia, but then we decided to swap him out through like, it was like a comms thing, because he was obviously Russian, and I needed comms for my Cypher player, so then I got Chuck, who I knew was a Cypher player and could comm quite nicely. And I think we've been together since, I don't even know, like August what year are we in? 2020 January. I don't know. I actually don't know.
You've been lost in the vacuum of time and space.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Around there.
So are you saying that you found the guys just through literally open trials? Like you were just... Where do you even find these players? Like, where if someone out there is trying to make SUMN FC #2, or maybe when you guys get signed, you can sell the rights to the team name, and you can actually make like a little baby SUMN FC team. But if someone's trying to do the same process as you, where do you even look for those players? Like, how did you even find players that were of the caliber to be worthy to be trialed in the first place, and then go through the extensive process?
All right, so I reckon I've got quite a nice eye to like spotting talent. So I was like, first off, I started off in VPD, and I saw a few players who caught my eye. I was like, yeah, I'll put them on the trial list. And some of them like even declined. I was like, duh, can I swear? Can I swear? I was like, the fuck? Like, you know, like this guy don't want to be trialed. Like, damn. All right, I see how it is. I'll see you in a few months when we smash you. That's how my thought process was anyway. And so it started off with VPD, which is like the Valorant Pro division in this like hub that the Europe uses. That is like sometimes active and sometimes not active. And then once I trialed like a few people from that were available, the team wasn't fully like ready. It didn't feel like I found all the players I needed. So then I just started spamming some ranked, and then I was just seeing if any good players were in ranked, and then I tried a few of them, but like obviously in ranked they might not be the caliber of player that I wanted. And then my girlfriend Yinsu, she was like, yo, you should be like going into like the university discords and all these other discords. I was like, I ain't doing that. Like, let me just stick to the Valorant Pro division and stuff. But I did do that as well, and I trialed a few people from that sort of scene, just randomly posting in discords in like the high plus skill thing, and just in case I found like a talent, you know, like you never know who's out there, like who has no idea of how to get spotted or anything, and could be just like timings that I missed them in ranked or in VPD. So I thought I'd just go there just in case. If anyone was willing to shoot their shot, I'd give them a try at least. Like it's like two scrims I think I gave everyone until they got to the next round. So that's kind of how it formed, really. I was just like on the grind, just asking everyone and just getting denied by people. And a lot of people started like join G2 and stuff that I asked. I was like, bloody hell, like I couldn't get everyone that I wanted, but I think I'm pretty happy with our results.
Yeah,
despite that.
That is a very cool story, actually. They're coming together. That's you don't.
It's quite unique.
It is, it is unique. It makes me believe that maybe I could do it. It makes me believe that the everyman could put together a top team. That is really cool. Is it just by coincidence that 3 of your guys all came from Fortnite?
Yeah, I think they all were in like a friendship group together as well, which helps. So like helps with the team dynamic. So I knew Mystic because I did actually have a team before SUMN that I was just making with friends, and then I was like, Mystic, I was like, he seems okay. And then over that time where we played for like a month, I think, didn't really amount to anything, but I thought Mystic was pretty good, and like he'd grown quite a substantial amount. Like he learned and listened and like improved, and that was like what I saw like wanted in a player. So I was like, yeah, I'll take Mystic along with me, keep him along, and then I just found the other 3 through that. Yeah, just Mystic was like, I know Mo, and I was like, I think Mo's all right. He seems pretty cool. He's VPD's #1 player in season 1 or season 2, so I was like, yeah, I'll pick him up.
Got
you know,
stats
for the
and accolades,
the story.
Yeah.
So I was like a little Suicide Squad or whatever, like just picking up my boys from. Like all we need now is like an epic montage of like the boys coming in looking like nerdy and stuff.
I like the idea of that as well. It's been very interesting to me seeing Valorant as a collection of players from different backgrounds as well, like different game backgrounds in particular too, because it's not the case as everyone believed that the CS:GO guys have just dominated the scene. Yeah. It's definitely beneficial to have some kind of background in the game for developing fundamentals and that kind of stuff. And there's some serious similarities between the two. But now that the game has grown and matured a little bit, a large amount of the people at the top end of the scene come from very different places. Like some of the guys from Overwatch, you know, Sinatra, obviously. Some of the guys from Fortnite, like Zipan and Sam, and then the 3 on your team as well. It's been very interesting to see the blend of all of the different games.
I think it's because at the end of the day, it is a shooting game. So if you got decent aim, the other like the fundamentals and basics can be taught. And if you've got one person that has some knowledge of that, like trading or going for information or like like mid-round pushes and rotations and all that jazz. If you've got someone that can be like quite a critical person and be like, shouldn't be doing this, you need to be doing this. Like if this is being pushed, what are you doing over here? Like you need to be reacting. If at least one person's trying to teach that, then eventually it'll be a struggle, but eventually you'll have some sort of like system going. And like that's why I think any game can compete. But I do think CS does help. Well, it has helped Summon for sure. Like,
Yeah.
bring it
So you feel that was a process with those being an in-game leader and bringing in players from another game? That's something you had to go through yourself?
Yeah, I knew that the boys would have to learn quite a bit. Like they all could shoot, and as long as you get people that can kill, that means they have that kind of like natural ability to feel it out the game. If you got that, then teaching the other stuff is tedious, but it is possible, and you can do it.
Now, I know that you guys as well have some interesting kind of personal backgrounds too. It's not like you guys are big streamers and that's how you make your money. I know that at the end of, or when you guys first qualified for First Strike, I think it was, I was watching a stream that you did with Yinsu and the rest of the team where you were saying a bunch of the team had quit their jobs or something like that, or were delaying school in order to pursue this. Like, this is truly, the Summon team is like truly you guys making it in some sense, right? Like, that's what's on the line here as well.
So yeah, we had, what was it? I quit my job when Valorant came out. I knew, I was like, man, I'm going to be good at this game. If I just work hard, I reckon I could be good. Like, I want to be a pro and I've got that drive. So even after this show, I'll probably go on and hit the server up or a VOD review up, because I want to make sure that we're always growing. So I knew that was me. Like, I've got maybe like 6 months to a year before I have to get another job. So I was like, I've stacked up the cash. I don't buy anything anyway. So like all I have to do is pay rent. As long as I can live and have some food. I'm skinny, I don't need to eat. So that was my kind of like thought process.
You sound,
and then,
the way that you're making yourself sound is like a raccoon just living off whatever you can find and scavenge together.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just as long as I get some veg, some fruit, some lunch, and some dinner, I'm a happy boy. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much energy sitting in a chair all day, does it? Like, I'm just like chilling.
Yeah.
And then for Mini was actually working, our coach, so he wasn't actually coaching us full time, so to speak. He'd only be able to come on a few days and like a few hours in the evening, even. So like, it was like very crucial times, and like the weekend was mine and Mini's server time, where we'd go on the server and like watch the VODs back or some VODs back and watch other VODs and start like theory crafting on the map. So that was like his job. So, and then throughout the week it was like me trying to take care of all the other finer details and stuff. So we didn't have a lot of resources, but we managed to pull through. And then you got Mystic, who was jobless. I think he was like delaying uni. And I think Mo was at uni, but then he left when we started getting good. And then Doma's at school. Doma's only 17, so he was still at school. So, and in Croatia, they have school at like 2 o'clock till 8 o'clock. So I'm like, that's prime time scrim time as well. So it's like, we were, so 1 week is that. And then the other week is like 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So it's like 1 week we'd have a nice day of scrims playing against decent teams. And then the next week it's like, we've got 2 hours in the evening to scrim, and then we get on early as well, like 12 o'clock, and just do 1 hour server time, so we're ready for those 2 hours of scrims.
Right.
So it's a bit mad, but Doma didn't tell me that when I was trialing him. I was like, "You're gonna be free, yeah?" Like pretty much every day. He's like, "Yeah, don't worry." Next thing you know, school starts, and I'm literally like sat here all day, like waiting for Doma. Like, what am I meant to do? Like, I've got strats to share, and it was just a
that's
disaster.
wonderful.
It was stressful. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting in my chair, like I was sitting at home thinking, like, oh, fuck me, he's at school, like all the time. Like I want to play, So,
but, I mean, has that been resolved? Didn't you say he's still 17?
Yeah. So what happens is, our hope and our plan is someday we'll get an org. And then when we get an org, Doma can pay for like some private school using the salary we get. So then we can actually have a decent schedule. So
That is
something like that. So we're
wild.
just hoping on that, really.
I have really never heard of that across the entirety of esports before.
No.
I don't know why I've never heard of it, but I think in a lot of countries that esports is very prevalent where you get into it at a young age. Schooling is not at bananas times during the day, and also seems to sometimes you end at like 16. Like I think in the UK previously, you only had to be in full-time education up until the age of 16. I think they changed that recently though. But yeah, that is a unique story, actually.
It's really interesting, I think. Yeah, the entire background of your team. I mean, it feels like it should be a movie.
Yeah, it's just 5 young lads making it through.
Yeah,
But it's just the beautiful underdog story.
It really is.
How
It would have been perfect if we won.
It would.
And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
if I recorded everything. Imagine that. I was so ashamed of myself that I didn't record it. At least like get the old background going. Would have been an epic video.
Yeah, still a very good result though. I was going to say, how does your background as individuals, throughout these past months, having to compete without an org, with all these extraneous circumstances, people in school, and then also the European, like the ecosystem in Europe, there's not as many tournaments, there's not as many prize pools, and there's obviously not as many orgs. What is it like playing in that right now?
It's rough. When you see over the waters, there's NA scene just like every week, just a tournament, and all the orgs are like jumping into it and stuff. So it is tough. But however, I'm not really one to care too much about money other than to live. I love playing the game and I love competing, and I knew that because when I took a year out because I needed to get a job and I became a vlogger, vlogging people who were competing, I was like, oh, I really just want to play, man. And that really made me when the game came out, I was like really motivated and I had drive. So in terms of that, it doesn't affect me. But in terms of the tournaments and stuff, a lot of them were invite only and we weren't established, so we didn't get an invite to some what was, I can't remember, Ignition series, where they called Ignition.
I think it was
series.
like the Allied Odyssey was the big one where you guys didn't get an invite to. If I'm remembering correctly. Blast. Blast was only a 4-team event as well.
Yeah, the last one was sad. It would have been nice to had a chance of qualifying, but I think there was one tournament where we just formed like 3 days before it that did have the qualifiers, and we took FPX to overtime. And we also lost in the finals, I think, to Bonk 13-11, who are now Guild. So it's like we were close despite only having 3 days practice. I was calling the same strat over and over again, just rush B or rush A. And it was somehow working on these rounds. I don't even know what was going on. I was just like, go A, rush B, rush A. And we were just hitting shots. So that helps.
It seems
like
I
can't remember the question.
Yeah, we were just talking about the
EU ecosystem.
The ecosystem in general.
Bad.
Because what is so strange about it is that the Valorant has been kind of the promised land for a bunch of different esports refugees who've come from other titles and haven't been able to make it and are looking towards Valorant as being a big Riot title. You know, the viewership was over 100K for Europe, and yet the team that finished second was actually unsigned. That isn't the case across any of the other regions that I can think of. I mean, certainly not the 5 major regions.
Yeah.
I can't think of, like, it was SUMN FC was very much an outlier in that you guys were clearly the best unsigned team in the world at that point. It's very hard to even think who the second would have been. So it must be weird from your point of view, though, being in that position and not being able to commit fully and yet still being able to compete at the top level.
Yeah, it was a weird one. But I always believed kind of that as long as I only care about winning. So I was like, if we win, then like the other stuff that come with it will eventually come. You have to put the grind in. You have to put the hard work in. You have to stay on track. Like on First Strike, the boys were a bit like preoccupied with like all that sort of stuff, like worrying about time and like we don't have an org and stuff. And I was like, boys, it doesn't matter. like just come onto the server, hurry up because you're 5 minutes late, kind of thing, you know, like just get on and like let's just try and win, and if we lose, we lose. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, you've
there's
weathered
plenty
the
of
storm now,
tournaments.
though, haven't you?
Yeah.
Certainly, because coming up in this year, you've got obviously the Challenger Series, and you've got an entire circuit to be competing in, which is obviously, I think, a bit of peace of mind. Obviously, you'd want more peace of mind. You'd want an org behind you. But it must be nice knowing that at least on the horizon, there are going to be tournaments coming up on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's what at least we have like a goal in mind. It might not be the stuff that we can't control, but we can control the result. Well, no, we can't control the results at the tournament, but we can control like how prepared we are for the tournament.
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to say. So that's what kind of my whole job of IGL is to focus on, and like, and all the other stuff can be handled by something else. You know, like I just want to make strats and play the game, like. And that's pretty much it. And I just tell the boys to just do that too.
How do you avoid
try
your
and-
players? How do you avoid your players and your team getting poached to pieces? Because I feel like that would have been the major problem, right, for a team that's that good.
Well, we actually throughout the course of us playing in like the I'd say tier 2 European events, all the way to First Strike, we had people approaching our players and being like, "Yo, you want to play for us? You want to play for us?" But luckily, the boys just kind of believed in, I guess, me and Minnie and our project and like our work ethic and everything. And we did have good results. We were beating these teams and stuff. And I guess the boys just decided to say no out of respect for Minnie and I.
That's
I know
pretty
that like
incredible.
even if they get a salaried offer, it could be what's the word? Hard to resist. But I guess the boys just believed that eventually we would be like in a similar position to these other teams, but just because of our results and how hard we work. But
It's so damn
we'll see.
wholesome, the Summon story.
Yeah.
It genuinely
Yeah,
is.
it really is. I mean, that is a temptation that is hard to resist for
Yeah.
many players.
That's the
You
devil's
don't-
apple.
It really is.
It
It
is.
is the devil's apple. Yeah, you just don't see that happen often, really, at all.
No, you don't. I mean, normally teams do just get poached to pieces, especially when you don't have like a, maybe not if you're in direct communication with an org that's about to sign you, but if there isn't something directly in front of them, there's a financial obligation sometimes
Yeah.
for players to just kind of take the first offer that's given to them.
Yeah,
So it's
I think I was quite lucky.
yeah, it's good that you guys have been able to weather it out, because I feel like at this point it's very obvious that you guys are able to accomplish more than if they just got poached by somebody else. You guys finished second in First Strike. Like, it's clear to potential organizations and to the players in Summon that the future is bright with this team, probably brighter than if they joined pretty much everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the other orgs were thinking either. Like, no one came into my DMs asking me to join them. Like, it's a bit rude, isn't it? Like, I put in all the hard work and no one's asking me. Outrageous.
That is outrageous.
No, I would say no as well, to be fair.
Did they
So
see
it
you
doesn't
play
matter.
on Icebox? You were popping.
Yeah, I was unreal with that, man. Did you not see me?
Yeah, you actually
Heretics,
were.
like, they were scared of me.
Yeah.
I was feeling in that game.
I do like one of the factors I like about your team as well is the amount of UK players you've got. I'm quite primitive with my mind. I like the nationalistic concept, you know, of like supporting some of your fellow countrymen. when it
Patriotic
comes
is
to,
probably a better word than nationalistic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, way better. Yeah, try and not get cancelled this episode. But the yeah, I mean, I just like the concept of, especially with UK esports as a whole, has kind of suffered, and I think especially in the CS scene, it's nothing. The CS scene was nothing I've never really followed particularly strongly in the UK region, at least, because I've heard so many bad things about it. But I did some digging about it when I was making the Team Liquid video, because so many of those players come from the UK as well. And it's quite nice to see so many UK players actually just having success now in Valorant as like the promised lands. Even though you guys, obviously, as we've said, you know, you're not signed yet. But it's nice to see that UK players can compete, you know?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm happy that all the UK players are doing well. I wouldn't say all the UK players, because it's not like the whole scene just
Sure.
up and like left. But I think the game is what happened was CS:GO skill level. It's so hard to break into the top tiers.
Yeah.
Like, you have no chance without maybe like infrastructure and the player base to do it. And the UK scene is just not. There wasn't enough players in it, and there wasn't enough resources, and not the right attitudes maybe. So Valorant came out, and this game was kind of like a first come first served, because instantly there will be a skill level, and then like the meta would be changing pretty fast because it's a new game and people will be like finding new stuff. So as long as you were decent enough at CSGO or like any games, and you just transferred over and put some hard, you were going to be rewarded as at the start of the game. But however, as time progresses, like you're going to see like the differentiation between a team that was good at the start to them like a year on, like where are they now sort of things. It's like retired. No, I joke, but like but yeah, you know what I mean, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. What I really like about SUMN, though, is that you don't feel like early peakers. You don't feel like the kind of team that's just come in, one, because you're new, and then you're going to fall off afterwards. That's not the impression I get whatsoever from your team. You seem like tactical team, you do the grinding, you put in the work, and you seem like you're constantly improving as well. And I wanted to try and talk a little bit about coming into First Strike as well. Can you run us through a little bit of what the prep looks like for a major tournament like that? Like what is your job as the IGL, but also what is the team doing to prepare for such a big major event like First Strike?
Right, so here we go. To prep for First Strike, it was endless server time. I was constantly, whenever Coach Mini could come and join me, I was constantly watching NA VODs, Korean VODs, China VODs.
China VODs. That is the rarest of answers.
Yeah, well, that's a. Oh, I shouldn't have said that one. Nah, I joke. I don't really mind that much. And then I was also watching like Brazilian, like any sort of VODs where I was like the top of tier of their region kind of thing, like CIS and whatnot. I was watching all their VODs, and then I'd go on server time with Mini and think of stuff. This would take like, I'd wake up, make my pancakes in the morning, and then I'd go to the server for 3 hours, do 45 minutes of deathmatch, and then I'd play 5 to 6 scrims with the boys, and then I'd like talk through with the boys afterwards and stuff. And that was kind of like my daily process every day pretty much. And then coming to First Strike, we were a little bit nervous, like we weren't sure like what was going to happen. Our bind was really bad 2 days before the event, so we just really focused on that map, and then it became our strongest one for the event. And because we were nervous, my girlfriend Yinsu, she was like, let me get in a what's it called, a guy as like a team psychologist.
Right.
So we got in a team psychologist through her, and she found someone, and he talked us through mindfulness and stuff. And that, I think that really helped the boys. Like during scrims and stuff, we were trying to practice it, like breathing and just focusing on breathing, touch, and just any thoughts of like anxiety or stress or anything, just label it and watch it float away, you know, kind of thing like that. And it does help, like in the moment. And like it's like, if you're in a deathmatch or if you're in a game and you're like, oh, I'm dog. No, you just think you're dog. And you're like, that's right. I just think I'm dog. I'm back, baby. Oh, 5K. But it did actually help. And I think it could have been partly helping towards our success in the finals, that we were able to keep cool versus like FPX and bounce back after absolutely getting smashed on split and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that is just such a natural transition into that series, because that one was wild. The FPX series was something else. I mean, coming into this, you guys had played against FPX before, and it had been a relatively close game, at least on the scoreboard. But I would say that it kind of looked closer than it was, your past performance against FPX as well. They seemed to be in control of the game a lot of the time, and even when it got close, it felt like FPX was going to edge it out. And yet in this series, if we're talking about the final map specifically, you blew them the fuck out. It like caused mental rupturings that shattered across the Valorant ecosystem. Genuinely did. Like, it was a booming, the likes of which I've never seen of a top team. It was a little similar to how, G2 got reverse they had the 9-3 half on Split and then got taken to a loss against Heretics. But except this was just a total, I think it was like 13-4, wasn't it?
Complete domination.
Crumbling of their mentals. So if we rewind time a little bit, now that we know the result of it, when you're coming into this game against FPX, what's in your guys' heads? They're another really tactical team. A lot of the community was thinking Summon are like a baby FPX. When they match up, FPX should just win because their styles are pretty similar, but FPX have the better players. At least I know that that's what I was thinking.
I think we were just gagging to play anyone good because the whole scene is kind of like we got easy bracket and stuff and whatnot, and we just wanted to play anyone good. I don't really mind if we lost and we were out then, as long as we put up a good showing and prove that we were like a top 4, top 5 team. Then I would have been happy. But yeah, coming into this game, I was gagging to win it. I watched a lot of their VODs and I was trying to read into their play, but it's quite hard to read into the mind of Angel and how he calls. I think it's very not on the fly, but it's like structured, but can be quite it's very simple, but not simple to when you're like playing against it kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, going into that, the Split game, I had a game plan and it didn't work. Not a lot can happen, like not much you can do about that. Like we didn't play it right. Well. And then coming to Haven, we lost a pistol and it was like a back and forth of just like force by, and eventually we broke through and managed to get like 8-4 on T half, and our CT half is super strong. So we were feeling confident, and then we took it all the way on that map. And then on Bind, we were expecting a Viper versus Viper. Like I was ready for it. Like I was ready to like really take them to the candy shop on that. But they decided to swap their comp to a comp that they'd beaten us originally on when we used the same comp as them, the Brimstone comp.
Yeah. And
then by then, I think we were already in their heads or something, because we were expecting that. And when they didn't do it, we were like, what? Like I even, Doma's on Reyna here. I woke up in the morning. I was like, to Coach Minnie. I was like, Minnie, I think we put Doma on Reyna today. I know we haven't practiced with it, but I think it will work against FPX because he can go aggressive.
And that's because you were expecting them to run the Viper Phoenix kind of compositions that they'd previously been running on Bind.
So, because that comp, the way they play is they're very like splitting around the map and prodding. So if we could have like a duelist like a Reyna, like who could prod and then get out and easily escape, then it could be good. Whilst also having a flash on our T side, it would be good. But they decided to go for the Brimstone comp. And I did watch this game back, and although it says like right now we're in 10-1, I think it should have been 8-4, 7-5. But we take them. If they're going to give us these rounds where they're like 4-2 up in men, and then Mystic and Mo just come out of B bomb site and just nail 3 of them, and then suddenly it's a 2v2. I mean, like, it's crazy. They must have been looking back at that and be like, we threw those, like some of those rounds. But I was confident that we were going to win it once they chose that map, and I'm just happy it went to the third map, and we managed to like get a nice variety of maps against them.
Yeah. How do you?
But yeah.
How do you feel about that sort of comparison? Because that was sort of the narrative on the broadcast as well. That drawing the similarities between your style and FPX, associating you as like the little FPX. How do you feel that is apt in some way?
I don't really mind. I mean, I've watched Angel's VODs, and I've like. Been inspired to create different variations of strats that they've done, or like mainly their defaults are quite well thought out and good. So I look at their default and I think, why are they doing that? Why are they only focusing towards showers, or why are they only focusing towards the sides of the map on Bind, for instance? So it's like we did take inspiration from them. So I don't really mind being called the little FPX. But it's just fitting that the little FPX beat the big FPX. So it's like, I mean, it makes our story better, right? So like, we'll take it.
They're the little summons now.
Oh, this is my CZ round, by the way. Drive by. Watch this. I don't know if you can see this, but this is mad. I'm like, let's peek elbow, flash for me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, flash. And I've gone before the flash like a lunatic. Oh wait, here it comes. Watch this. And I absolutely drive by Shadow. Wait, it's coming any second now. I'm like, we need to fight Elbow Boys. Look at this. Fucking just took him out. And then I managed to get the other kill as well. And I was like, oh, I should just main the CZ. But yeah, just sums up that round. I was kind of hyped about that.
Do you feel like your team was the kind of team to actually step up when the pressure was on? Do you feel like when you look back at this, do you think this was an overperformance for your team because it was, you know, the hype and because you guys really felt like it was a big game?
I'd say it was. I mean, we've been playing so many games of scrims, and like in scrims, it can be quite tedious, and like you're not switched on. So I think the amount of scrims and games we did play, it was only right that we were going to pop off that game because we were fully focused and we were driven to win. And like, you know, it's different when you're playing scrims in an official. And like I said, I made this team with Mini. I chose these players all because they had individual prowess. You need everyone being able to step up in a round or step up in a game. So as long as one guy's popping off, like sometimes it's Mystic combined with the Viper, and it relieves pressure for Doma because Doma feels like he has to pop off every game. So I think it's only fitting that what I'm trying to say is, yeah, we I don't know. I can't remember the question again. My bad. I just talk for ages. My bad. No,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is we don't. It wasn't because we were hyped that we played well. It was mainly because we'd practiced so much, and it
Right,
was a high intensity game that we played well.
Right. You put the value in. It seems like you put a lot of value in preparation. I know that a lot of, like, we were talking to Dapper last week, and Sentinels, they're a team that seem to do a lot of, you know, they're playing their own game, but it's a lot of, they have trust in the individuals to be able to come up with the right solutions to the situations they find themselves in. Whereas the sense I'm getting from you as well is that a lot of it comes from the top down. Like, it's from you and Mini are coming up with a philosophy, a vision of how you want the team to play, and you're trying to mold the team into that direction. Rather than it being on the fly, it seems to be a lot of preparation that you're relying on.
Yeah, we have to. We're not the best team at playing on the fly. It's quite difficult at the moment because obviously the fundamentals and basics that I'm trying to train, and like the rotations and like knowing how to poke and prod, is quite difficult, and it's not really my IGLing style either, because I like having structure, so I'm able to force the enemy's movement a little bit and be able to call accordingly. So we can do on the fly. It's just better if we have structure. So that's kind of our play style.
It does seem very unique, I think, from your just from your point of view, I suppose. Like, not many unsigned teams would have this kind of level of structure and discipline coming into it. It feels like a lot of teams form, at least maybe early on. I'm not so sure about these days, but a lot of teams form just from like, oh, I'm mates with this person, let's bring him in. Have a good performance in a tournament, but then that kind of that lack of structure kind of bites them in the ass a little bit later on, you know. Whereas your team, it's quite impressive, I think, that you've done all this preparation with no org, no structure in place that should be really defining it. Yet you've come together with this idea in mind, and it's brought you this far. I think that's really impressive, honestly. Yeah.
Cheers. I think well, thank you. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think structure is really important to me. Like, even when I was in CSGO grinding on like 0 salary and like just wanting to try and go pro, I was always trying to make strats and trying to do something different. Like I was watching VODs back then on CSGO as well. On HOTV it was a lot easier because you had demos and stuff, so you can watch individual players. And I just treated Valorant the same. I just made sure we had really solid executes with good pathing, good race lines to like Doma there with his satchel and ulti. We knew Meadow plays Cypher cages on C, and he'd probably be sitting in one. So we just sent Doma in with his what's it called? His ulti, and it's normally like a free kill on the Cyphers that play C bomb site. So that's why that worked and stuff. So it's like having structure, it means your players don't have to think about working the map. It just means that they can just become a well-oiled grease machine, you know, like just like
slithering through.
Yeah, and then if you need to react and do something on the fly, then it's not as hard, because you've probably been in that situation before. It's like mental representation, I think it's called, where it's a learning technique, where if you've seen something, it's like noticing patterns. And in this game, it's harder because there's loads of utility being used, but there is still the same concept of, if it's a C hit, where will I go? It's like just reacting, and that's what kind of that's what we do and stuff. So
yeah, I love the idea. I think it's a very fun style to break down as well, and it's always enjoyable to watch your games because you notice the preparation that you guys have put in, and you can tell it's prep because it's way too refined to be on the fly kind of stuff. I wanted to move on to the game that you had against Heretics, though, the actual finals. That is a finals that no one predicted. I don't know a single person that would have predicted that finals. Were you expecting to meet them on the other side of the bracket?
Now we were expecting G2. I was looking forward to beating G2. But Heretics one it's a rough game, man. We I mean they do have some class players, to be fair. I think Nukia is really underrated, or is it underrated? Yeah, I don't think he gets as much attention as his other teammates, but I think he's like very good. He was a pain in the ass when we played him. And I think obviously Lowell, I mean, the Sage is such an annoying agent, man. And because in the EU meta, we didn't practice people that played against Sage for ages because the Sage meta was out of it, but apparently Heretics are still using it. It's still strong, to be fair. We weren't ready, we were ready, but I guess we weren't ready at the same time because the calls I made on Haven, the Sage kind of screwed us over. And on Bind, if we just won a pistol round, we would have maybe actually won that game too. And then it would have gone to split as well. We only won one pistol round. It was on Icebox, and that was the map we won. When it came to Haven, we lost both pistol rounds. Bind, we lost both pistol rounds. And Ascend, like I said, we were unsigned, we didn't have an org, resources. Like, I couldn't get that map down as well, So I had to have one map, and Ascend's always been my map where I'm like, we just ban it, boys. Just ban it. We get a free ban. And but now, because we've had time, we've been taking the time to go over Ascend since the year.
Yeah, sure. So, given that you're obviously a team that is going to be well prepared, and that's one of your advantages over the other teams that you're playing against, do you think you would have had a better chance in the finals playing against G2, a team with more footage out there of how they play?
Yeah, I think G2 are better than Heretic. I think G2 actually threw their game. I watched their game as well. I think they kind of threw it on Bind, and I think on Ascent as well. I can't remember, but I felt like G2 they should have gone to the finals, but it's like a case of like, is it throwing or is it just Heretics playing better? It's I think we were expecting G2, and our comps and our playstyle would have suited G2 perfectly, I think. It might have been harder on our CT side because G2's T side is very, they're good at playing like the on the fly kind of playing off of each other's setup, which can abuse us a little bit. But I think our T side we would have had better results versus G2 than Heretics, I think, solely just because Heretics had Sage, and I don't like Sages. That's that.
That actually reminds me of I had a pet theory about SUMN and what it stood for as well. Because you had there's this whole mystery, the enigma around what the acronym stands for.
I genuinely thought your team was an org. It seems so professional. SUMN FC.
SUMN FC. I just added the FC and
I thought it was like a Swedish football club or something.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
It makes sense if you saw his jersey, wouldn't it? At the moment. Yeah. I for some reason, me and my chat when we were watching the First Strike games, someone in the chat said that it stood for Sage Alt My Nan. Like your nan was dead and you wanted to resurrect your nan, I suppose. So you'd Sage Alt My Nan. Don't know where that came from, but that's been my pet theory whenever I hear your guys' name.
That's a creative one. I tell you that now.
What? Sorry.
That's a creative one. I don't know who's come up with that. Bloody hell.
Yeah. So that's
I can't actually reveal what it means because we made it our thing to reveal it once we get signed. So hopefully we'll get signed one day, and then I can
yeah.
like
You interested
reveal
in
it to you.
You interested in penciling a deal with the Platchat LLC at the moment? We can pay you like £3 and a packet of biscuits.
I could take that actually. You DM me after, and we'll see what happens. All right, well, just a quick note because my girlfriend's over there and she's like, and she actually came up with the FC bit, the football club. So
Right.
it was like she was like, add the FC just for bants, and we are like, all right, go on then. So I just quickly don't want to get in trouble after this, you know. Gotta be a good boy. No, I'm joking.
I wanted to bring it back to this, what we're looking at right now, which is the Viper on Bind. It's something that a couple of teams have experimented with Viper, and notably a few have done it on Bind as well. And I think, Wyatt, you were telling me in the break something that Sliggy had been saying recently.
Yeah, I had heard Sliggy say on his stream the other day that based on the teams that they've been playing against, like in EU, it feels like right now on Bind, 1/3 of the teams are running Brim, 1/3 are running Omen, and 1/3 are running Viper, which is a stark contrast to NA at the very least, which is essentially 100% Omen.
Yeah, I mean like 12% Brim was what we saw in the most recent
Yeah.
tournament. Yeah, but otherwise it had been 100% Omen. What's the rustlings on the ground floor, and what do you feel about the viability of them?
I don't think, like, obviously everyone's like, Omen's been nerfed, like, oh no, but I don't think it's that bad of a nerf. I think we're still running Omen. I think Brimstone is very viable. His smokes lasting longer is kind of annoying. Like, you're normally used to smoke fading, and then suddenly you're like, why is this still up? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So, and I think his ulti is pretty good for clearing out lamps and like elbow on B site and stuff. So he has a lot of practical reasons as to why you'd run him. Omen's flash is still like really OP, so he has reasons as well, and his ulti isn't too bad. And then Viper as well is good. I personally don't think Viper's good on her own as a controller. You need like an Omen or Brim with her. But I do think because I think she's more, the way I see Viper is she's more of a like a sentinel more than a controller, because she's pretty good on CT side, and on T side her kit's not bad as a support controller, sorry. So it's like a bit of a weird one, but I don't think she's a sole controller on her own, because it's the wall is like you place it and then that's that, and you've only got the orb, and the orb flies in the air, so it gives enemies time to react and stuff. So I do think you do need another smoker with her. However, FPX did do it without, but they played it like very dualisty kind of style, whereas we play it more after plants and executes sort of style.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I feel Viper is. And I've been testing Viper since the beta. I've always tried to make Viper a thing, even when she was dog. Like, I was like, oh, guys, we should play Viper. And my team's like, no. And I'm like, great. And stuff like that. But luckily, like, she's been getting buffed and buffed and buffed. And I think she's not bad right now. I think she's pretty solid CT side and attack side, as long as you have the right agents with her.
Do you, with the recent changes to Brim, the buffs, do you think that they're reasonable buffs or a bit overtuned? Where do you stand with it?
I mean, they're not like overtuned enough for me to start using him, and like because it's like OP. I think it's fine. I don't think it's anything crazy. But I do think it's fine. The increase in the range is quite helpful, because on Bind you used to have to like either get into showers or close box just to smoke heaven. So it makes bursting a burst smoke agent quite hard to burst if you've got to walk up the speedway bit.
You got to sniff them. You got to get within smelling distance to be able to put down the smokes normally.
Exactly. So I think that buff is pretty good, to be fair. The smoke increase is like to try and get people to be like, it lasts longer, which is fine as well. I don't. But then again, at the same time, you don't really need the smokes to last a stupid amount of time, because by then you should have taken the site and or died. So I think I think he was weak on CT side, so the smoke increase is pretty good for his CT side, because people are less inclined to run through them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
And it's just your personal, I suppose, your personal viewpoint when it comes to like weighing how good Omen's kit is. terms of his paranoia, right? Which leads you to thinking that, I mean, Omen's still good. Its paranoia is like one of the most broken abilities in the game, it feels like sometimes. And you can just combo with anything, make any sort of set play happen.
It's really solid on CT side. It's just a case of like, are you using it efficiently or not? Essentially on T side and CT to kind of outweigh the Brim Omen kind of battle, I guess.
Part of the discussion that we were having during First Strike as well was most people would have labeled FPX as the most tactical team in Europe. And, maybe people would talk about Vision Strikers being the most tactical in the world, but FPX are right up alongside it with them when it comes to tactical prowess. And you guys pretty comprehensively outplayed them whilst displaying a better display of tactics too, throughout the entirety of your game. And while Heretics are very, very good strategically with like setting up good positions and then being able to make good mid-round pushes and find good timings to get picks and that kind of stuff, it seems like from the outside, from my perspective, I would label SUMN after First Strike as the most tactical team in Europe. Is that how you guys think about yourself? Do you think that's a fair accolade to give the team?
Honestly, I don't really think like that in terms of like, oh, we're the most tactical team in Europe. Yeah. The kind of thing I think about is like, I mean, we need tactics, honestly. We need to have tactics. And I like tactics, and it's fun making like metas and cheese and whatnot. So not cheese, the actual cheese, but cheesy strats.
And, I didn't think you were sat there brewing the curds and whey.
Yeah. You know me, just got my cheese making thing over there. I don't know what I'm saying. But no, I think we're a very heavy tactical team, and I do think we've made some ingenuity, like new strats and like new metas. Maybe not a meta to like that the whole scene follows, but definitely new strats that can inspire other teams and stuff. I think we've definitely done that. And I'm happy about that because like I created some of the strats, so I'm pretty happy with some of my crunchy nut on split. That's one of my favorite ones. We got Fiat 500.
Sorry. What? You're gonna have to run me back to
good names.
Okay, so the crunchy nut split.
Yeah, crunchy nut on split. So it's not crunchy nut split, but it's on the map split. We got crunchy nut. We got what else? We got Justin Bieber mid. That's a good one.
Are these current strats, or can you actually run us through some of these? Can you give us an example?
They're current ones. I can't actually run them through, but because we got different comps now and stuff.
Sure. Okay.
And also some of it is still the same. But yeah, I just came up with like. I was like, boys, what do you want to call them? Like, we got Ferrari A, Fiat 500 A, which is a bit slower and more controlled because it's like. So we got some cool stuff. And then I was playing in the uni scene in the UK, just kind of like being an analyst for an event, just for fun, and as a favor actually. And the boys, I can't remember why, but the boys in the uni scene were like, run it up. And I was like, what is this saying? Why do they keep saying run it up? So then I made a strat called run it up. And on bind, it won us the CZ round. So I'm pretty happy about that bad boy. But yeah, crazy names and crazy strats, I guess, sometimes.
I love it. I love that. Once you change your comps fundamentally, I'm going to need you to write up some of these names with like a clip of what the strat was. We need to know what the Ferrari and Fiat 500s are.
Or
when the meta
type
changes.
it in chat. If you do the strat and you win the round, just type Ferrari in chat so we can see. We will know what you're talking about.
Or say like we're in the event and like after the round they play the camera. This is Ferrari. Like I'll just like read it up, you know what I'm saying? Like just so you know.
Oh, God.
Wow,
I love it.
This I think leads us on nicely to the next topic, which is talking about coaching in Valorant as a scene. And of course, it's a scene that's so early and budding. We haven't really seen the impact of coaches as of yet. But you've been talking at Mimi a lot during this podcast, and clearly this is something that you value quite highly, is like this kind of coaching structure and that kind of assistance from that. It's funny actually, the difference of opinion when we were talking to Dapper the other week, and he was saying how he doesn't really feel like at the moment coaches are really necessary to a team's success. What's your kind of viewpoint regarding that?
So I've had bad coaches and I've had good coaches. So I'd say they are beneficial, like super beneficial, and like super a necessity to success sometimes. Like obviously you might have a team that's got a smart IGL who controls everything and you don't need a coach as much. However, for me, I like having Mini because he's smart and he is on the same wavelength as me, but not all the time. He like, whenever I come to him with a strat I've made, or whenever I've come to him with a default and stuff, Minnie's always like adding counter arguments and stuff like, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, oh, Minnie, shut up. Let's just try it on the server, man. Come on, like, let's try it. But like, he is right in saying like the critiques of what could it be and stuff. So he's good in that aspect when it comes to the creative design. Then when it comes to actually hopping on the server together, like two minds are better than one. And when he's smart as well, like I'm not saying I'm smart, but I'm pretty smart at the game, but not crazy smart. I'm not like a genius. Like, you know, I don't want to pick myself up because I got so much to improve. But he when we're on the server doing our server time, like he's quite pivotal in terms of getting the boys to understand what we want. And he's like the neutral kind of guy. Like if I was to say, Mystic, can you not do that? Or Mystic, try and do this round. It's not always good to come from the IGL. Sometimes it's better to come from the coach because he's more of a neutral kind of guy on the outside watching and stuff. So it's good for that, especially if you have teammates that are like very defensive. I'm not saying that anyone on my team are defensive, but from past experiences. And then when it comes to VOD reviews, Coach Mini's super handy, like in terms of getting points across that I might have missed. And then when it comes to preparation, me and him are comparing notes and just wondering like how to go into the game versus FPX or that picture, man. That's so stupid.
Yep,
yeah, that was
the value of a coach.
Right there.
What was this?
Ascent, Afterplant, Shock Dart.
Right. Where are we?
Oh, is it on A?
I think it's on A. In the
on
hallway
A site against the.
It's either for Afterplant Moller or like to Shock Dart the Killjoy ulti, but I don't know if if we ever got
I can't make head nor tail of that.
I think
but
it's
that
against
is
the wall,
that's Doma's drawing, right? That's the coach critiquing Doma's drawing.
Yeah. That was just in Discord. I'm like, I just opened up Discord. I've just seen that. I was like, what are they doing, man? How's that gonna teach Mo a Shock Dart? Like normally it's me coming up with like every lineup as well, and I just show the boys. So, yeah, I think Coach Mini is super helpful in terms of the boys' success, and I think it's nice to when he is there. I mean, like when if he can, well, he's kind of full time now because he quit his job. So, but before, like even in the small amount of time we had him, it was super helpful. But now he's been a bit more like helpful in helping me get maps prepared. Because originally it was mainly me preparing the maps with him, like adding stuff that he's seen from VODs and stuff, and critiquing, obviously. But yeah, coach is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said earlier that you believe that some of your strats had been like inspirations to other teams, and you took inspiration from FPX, for example, for some of their defaults and that kind of stuff. Are there other teams, other regions that you specifically have either learned a lot from or draw a lot of inspiration from or like the way that they play, but it's very different? What would you say are the major either players or teams around the scene that you've drawn inspiration from when you're trying to cook up these strats or think of the way your team should play?
Okay, so Vision Strikers, obviously, that's like a no-brainer with their Breach Jet combos. It did create a little meta for Europe for some time, and people are still using it now to this day. I think it's good, and I think the structure just shows like how powerful it can be against teams that don't have good CT sides or good structure themselves. I'd say in terms of Europe, we watched Liquid I think the boys at Liquid with Sliggy and stuff, they have some nerdy stuff that was quite interesting to look at. Whether we used it or not is another thing. And then we had NA. So NA, the only thing I really know, NA is a weird one because the way NA plays is extremely fast reactions and good aim. Like there's not a crazy amount of structure, but they're very good at playing scrappy.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be like that. There are some teams out there. I think Dignitas do throw in a few. There are strats, obviously, but the way I see how rounds are being played sometimes, especially with 100 Thieves, they might have an execute, but in terms of defaults or in terms of other executes they do, it's very loose, and so it's hard to copy and hard to mimic if you don't have the players to do that. Like if you don't, like Mard's players, when we need to be taught how to react and stuff, and it seems NA are very happy sometimes to play on the fly kind of esque. I think. I mean, I'm not there in the TeamSpeak channels listening to their comms. So not really so much from NA, but it is quite nice to see how they're just rocking duelists all the time. The triple duelists, for instance, and stuff, or like TSM no Sentinel and stuff instead. Like it is interesting to see other scenes. So it's always nice to keep an eye on what other scenes are doing in terms of their metas and stuff. And like what they're up to. I think Korea and China and Japan are the same. They don't use Sentinels as well sometimes. So yeah, I think we're inspired, but a lot of my favorite strats and my best strats are ones that I just made. Like I was like, we need this, like we're getting owned by this, and I make a strat for it, and I'm like tweaking it all the time, and then eventually it's a solid strat. That's kind of how you do it, I guess. Just got to be a little bit creative.
Interesting.
Do you have personal people that you watch to learn more about how to play? I mean, Breach is what you've been majority playing, although you did play some other things during First Strike. Are there like specific people that you look at to learn that?
No, I think I catch things when I'm watching VODs, like, oh, what's that breach flash? Like, oh, that's interesting, or stuff like that. But other than that, it's mainly I watch my own.
Yeah.
The best way to learn your own agent is to watch yourself and see why you're dying. Every death it's not a mistake, but could you have done better? Essentially, that's how I look at it. So if I die, like, what could I have done better there? Have I reacted wrong, or did I whiff? Like stuff like that. So that's kind of how I see it in terms of individual basis.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Interesting. The one region you didn't reference, but I think you said you watched earlier, was Brazil as a region. And I don't know why you didn't take inspiration from Brazil usually, because it's quite a hectic region. When I watch it, I kind of feel the same way that you do about North America, where it can be quite puggy at times as well. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Brazil as a region as well in Valorant.
So it's been a while since I watched a Brazil game. The last time I watched it, I think they did an Omen smoke in middle, and then the Rays hid in the Omen smoke on split. So like they hit, on split on CT side, if you go down, there's a box, there's a smoke, and he just sat in the smoke, and the smoke faded, and no one checked him, kind of thing. So I was just seeing bits like that on their split. I think the Brazil game I watched was a split game, and other than that, I didn't see anything crazy special. It's very similar to other scenes, so it was like there was nothing new to learn. So I think I didn't watch many Brazil games.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious about the, I suppose, the general level. But if you haven't watched it in a while, it would be hard to compare. Yeah, it would be absolutely hard to compare.
Well, talking about hard to compare.
Yeah, I was about to. That's a good segue. Nice segue, dude. You're a pro, huh?
I mean, it is just the law that you have to ask every guest whether they think their region is the best in the world. I think it is the law at this point across all podcasts. But yeah, it's so difficult to say before we have LAN events. But from the bits and pieces that you've seen and from playing in Europe, how do you think the region stacks up with the rest of the world?
I think EU can definitely. I think EU. It's weird because I don't know. I'd like to see NA attack our bomb site on bind. Is what I'm trying to say. Like I don't know, like how they're gonna get onto a bomb site and stuff. So it's really weird, like seeing how they play and stuff and how we play. it's gonna be fun, that's for sure. But I have to say EU's the best scene. However, I do think every scene has top teams. Like 100 Thieves is going to be a hard one. You got, TSM, they're a solid team as well. You got Sentinels, they're solid. Am I missing another one? Could be. I might be missing another one. I can't remember. Those are the ones that come to my mind anyway. And then you've got in Korea, you got the Vision Strikers, obviously, and then in China, you've got RNG. There's another one, O2 Gaming or something, and KX. Like, there's so many teams that it's going to be fun when international events come. I mean, CIS is pretty good as well in our scene. So, like, we still got to qualify top 4 to get into the international tournament, haven't we, or something? I can't remember the ruling system or something, but it's going to be fun. So, EU the best. Yeah, let's get it. There we go.
What is it about, something that was interesting there, though, as you were kind of puzzling it through, is I think you're trying to picture in your head how a team like, for example, 100 Thieves would attack against your team. What is it about the two styles that isn't kind of the pieces aren't fitting in your head? Is it because everyone in Europe plays more kind of boom, we hit the site, and yet they're more proddy and feeling things out, and you just don't know how the two would actually align?
I think like every scene does a mixture of that sort of prodding or just like the boom executes. But it's hard to know, like, it's the thing of like, if you're not used to playing against it, how do you know if you're going to beat it, kind of thing?
Right,
like,
right.
Are the NA teams going to be able to adapt to how we play? It's not dramatically different, but it is different. It's the same in other games, I guess. If you play internationally, it's like you're not ready for what they bring to the table, kind of thing. You're not, what the hell? They're just aggressively peeking all the time. What is this? Like,
Yeah.
all that, or like they're so passive, or like, you don't know what you're going to be up against if you've not practiced against it. So it's going to be, it's a tough one. I honestly don't know what the best region is. I just like the fact that there is no, like, this is the best region. So it's when the first international tournament comes, it's going to be like a Royal Rumble kind of thing.
Oh, it's going to be so hype, isn't it?
It's going to be so good.
The question, it's just been bubbling for a year at that point. When we actually see the international tournament, it will be like roughly a year.
It'll be over a year as well, actually.
Yeah, of just wanting to know, wanting to find out. We're going to end the show shortly. But before we do, our producer has found a quiz that your Twitter account, the SUMN FC Twitter account, tweeted out. A BuzzFeed quiz. Which SUMN FC player are you? So, so
that
we
was
thought it would be.
She made this.
We thought it would be quite funny to take part in this as well. And
this is amazing.
I don't know if we want to do it as a collective or what.
I think it would be the funniest to give Wyatt this one and see. Yeah, okay. Because me and Bren are British, right?
Sure.
We'd fit into SUMN. You wouldn't even need a disguise.
Yeah,
you wouldn't need a wig. I mean, I would need a wig, but most people wouldn't. You'd just slip straight in. Whereas you're a weird American boy.
Yeah,
you wouldn't fit into SUMN FC. Who are you most similar to?
Okay, let's see.
Pick a Valorant agent.
Oh, there's multiple. Okay.
Wait.
Stop.
Is it all of them?
No, it's just 6.
Just 6.
Pick Reyna.
Okay. Going for Reyna.
You know I'm playing Reyna.
Pick a gun. Oh, here we go.
This is a tough one. Because I go back and forth on the Phantom and the Vandal. Depends on how I'm feeling on the day.
Yep.
Judge? No. Operator? Definitely.
If we were a bigger team, this would have popped off, I reckon. This is fun. This is like Yinsu's idea. She came up with this. And I was like, this is kind of fun. I even did it just to see who I get.
Wait, did you
This is actually a great idea. I'm surprised I've never seen this before.
Boaster, did you get Boaster?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. So it works. It works.
I was relieved. I didn't want to be Dome or anything,
Give me the Vandal.
The Vandal, okay.
Yeah.
Pick a skin. Here we go.
I mean, I only own one skin, and you know what it is.
Yeah.
Top right.
The
Overflame Vandal.
So stupid. I can't believe you.
Pick a game. Where's Fortnite?
Wow.
Is there no Fortnite?
That's kind of crazy.
No.
That's kind of crazy that 3 of the players come from Fortnite. There's no Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, I came from Fortnite, so I thought I was going to go for that. But I have not played. Well, I guess I played Quake like once. I'll go Valorant. Valorant is the game. Pick a color. I think I have to pick black.
Yeah, I think that's all the clothes you own.
Yeah,
The black.
I would go.
Pick a
Oh,
snack.
Pringles.
snack?
Well, yeah. If Josh was taking this quiz, I know what answer I'd be seeing.
Oh, some Crave cereal. I haven't had Crave in
I mean, we're going to have to
years.
go back through this and ask why some of these questions exist.
I would pick popcorn. Love a little popcorn.
Okay. Place to visit.
New York, Japan.
New York,
I've just realized for our
Japan,
audio
LA,
listeners, this is just
Rome.
nonsense.
Yeah.
There's New York, Japan, LA,
Well, now
Rome,
you gotta
Korea,
tune
and
in.
Cape Town.
Now you got to tune in. Give us that double view. Listen on Spotify. Click on YouTube too. Two views, twice the money for us. I would pick Korea because I've never been
Okay.
to Korea.
I like that
I'd
option.
love to go there.
Pick a movie. Here we go.
Oh, there's some good movies here.
Whose favorite film is I Am Legend?
I Am Legend's an
can't
alright
remember.
movie. That's alright.
This is a. I Am Legend.
I think I'd rather watch I Am Legend than Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, so would I actually. Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not my pick.
What?
I know what I would pick.
I know immediately which one I would pick out of these. In fact, I would go so far as to say there is an obvious choice.
Do you think so?
I would
Yeah,
say
I
so,
think so.
absolutely, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
Same.
that obvious?
I mean, Boaster's not in, but Boaster picked one of these, and
Yeah.
it's a 1 in 6 chance of being
I know what I
in
would pick
agreement.
instantly.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of pressure.
I'm gonna go with the Big Lebowski.
It's the Shawshank Redemption.
It's the Shawshank Redemption.
It's the
It's Coco. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, it's Coco.
I've never seen Coco. Don't
Coco's good.
Kurt, yeah, Kurt, you like Coco, right?
Coco
is
is
good.
definitely one of the. I think it's a Pixar movie, right?
It is, yeah.
I think
it's
it's
a
my
good one.
favorite
I
one.
like it.
It's very good.
Very good.
I can't read.
So wait, whoa. One of your players chose I can't read.
Yeah.
Is that why
Okay.
Doma's in a school that has different timings?
I can't remember who, but I can't read.
God, I can't.
I think
yeah,
it's the fact that they just don't read.
I'm gonna go with I can't read.
I like
Top right.
yeah. Whoever's got the Stormlight
Pick an
archives, I
artist.
got a lot of respect for them.
I have only
That's
heard
me.
of one of these people.
Pop Smoke. Pick
Okay.
a song.
That's not my outfits with me.
I mean, okay, pick WAP. Pick someone from gaming esports.
Wow. And there's none of the summon
People say
players
that I
in there.
look like Henry G all the time.
Really?
People always used to say it. Mr. Slynn always used to say that I look like Henry G.
I can see a
Other
slight...
people used to say it all the time.
I can see a
kinda
slight
see it.
similarity.
when I was like casting and
I mean, you definitely look
C2.
more like Henry G than you look like Tyler 1.
yeah, true. Yeah, you're not wrong.
But I also...
it's-
this question wasn't,
Yeah.
which
I know.
one do you
well,
look
that's why
like?
I'm saying I'm inclined to almost say Henry G. But I'm gonna wait. What's the question? Just pick a.
Pick one.
Oh, just pick someone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess like someone you like or like.
Yeah,
your
yeah. I'll
favorite.
pick Asmongold.
Asmongold.
All
I
right.
like. Yeah, I like
Josh's lookalike.
You're Mo.
Oh, baby.
There's some Mo's in this house. There's some Mo's in this house. That is fabulous.
so good. If there's anything we need more in the world, it's Mo 40. And like the British Sova legend, you feel the most comfortable when you've got those juicy lineups in your back pocket and picking up multi-kills. I do play a lot of Sova. You might be one of the quieter players on your team,
Oh, yeah.
but you're also one of the most
Wow.
impactful. That is true.
Debatable.
Also true.
Wow.
Don't say a lot, but
It's so
mega
fitting.
impact.
I'd like to quickly run back through and find out what Boaster's picks actually are. Then.
Yeah.
Because this is, we've got Boaster on the show. I want to know, for example, the snack one. Who the hell is putting Crave cereal in there as their favorite
That was
snack?
Cook's Mini.
That's mini.
He didn't know what
God.
snack to put. I think mine was just fruit.
What are you here? Because I mean, what do you even play out of these? The Omen?
I put Raisin Viper, but I got given Viper. I think
Right.
so.
right.
Viper
Okay.
was my one.
Okay.
I got given the Spectre here, but I put the Vandal.
Oh, okay.
I put Vandal
okay.
and Spectre. So because
Pick a
obviously we
Valorant
all
skin.
had to choose multiple choice. Mine's a Prime Vandal here.
That's
The
a good
what,
choice.
sorry?
That's
The-
a good choice. The Prime Vandal. Yeah, that's a very good choice.
There's a comm thing from the Blast tournament we did, the First Strike Blast, and it's like we won the round. I was like, oh, is that a Prime Vandal? Yeah, give me that. Because I didn't have the skin. I was waiting for the skin to come up in the market. Mine was Divinity Original Sin 2.
I
It's
was
a
going
fun
to ask,
game.
what the hell is that game?
It's like a isometric RPG.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've been playing it in off season for about a week, and now I'm back on Valorant. But next year is gonna be good.
Okay.
Mine was Black and Blue, but I think I got given. Oh, I can't remember. Blue, I think I got given.
And what is this?
Fruit.
Fruit.
Mine
All
was
right, fruit. Not bad, not bad.
I put Japan, China, and Korea, but I got given Japan, so Japan was me.
Yeah, I mean, all great options. And then
Coco.
Coco was your movie.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like the Inception. And I remember Coco just made me cry for ages. So like I was like, I'll put that one.
It is a really good movie. I really enjoyed it when I was
I've
watching
never seen
it. But I mean, The Shawshank Redemption is
Yeah.
also on the list. That's
Yeah, but I thought people would pick that one, and I was like,
Sure.
yeah. Stormlight Archive.
Yeah.
Who put I can't read?
I can't
Was
remember.
that
Probably
Mo?
Mystic or Mo or Doma. I can't remember. One of those three trolls.
it's probably Mo. That's why you got given Mo.
Yeah, probably. I can't read.
And I know, Boaster, that you're into singing because I saw that you were gonna sing like a theme tune or something for what was it that you said you were going to do on Twitter? You said you were going to do like a theme song for Summon or something. Am I
Can't remember, but
misremembering?
I think it was like some tournament, I think. And I was making a joke about doing the theme.
Oh,
tune
is
for it, or-
that because Jonas came on and he was singing a song about Sova? Did you
Maybe.
guys see that
Yeah.
first strike?
Okay, then yeah, it was. I've always got this meme going around that I want to do a first strike. Like you know how like League of Legends has worlds and each world is a song,
Right.
and they're like always epic. I was like,
Yeah.
when Valorant do one, I'm gonna be doing that one.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what it was actually. It was you and Yinsu saying you wanted to do a diss track for the other people in EU.
Oh yeah, we did want to do that too. Coming into first strike, just diss track everyone, but we decided I needed to focus on the gaming instead of doing a diss track. But if we got time for the next tournament when we get there, everyone's going to be getting dissed. Spitting off and everything.
Okay, and who do you pull inspiration from? The Backstreet Boys with your diss tracks?
I like in this one I put BTS. I like BTS.
Who is BTS?
It's a Korean.
K-pop band.
K-pop.
I like
Right.
K-pop, but some of the songs are pretty cool. I like Mic Drop. It's kind of like with I can't. Who's the guy? It's American. I think he's. Oh,
don't
anyway,
know.
never mind.
You can look it up. If you're in the audience and you're interested, you can look it up.
Yeah, I like Adore You, Harry Styles. Love
Harry
a bit of Harry
Styles.
Styles.
Wow, that's a wonderful reference.
I put Asmongold.
Asmongold.
I love
Alright.
Asmongold.
There we go.
There you go. I love how the picture don't even show me.
Yeah, it's just your crotch.
Yeah, it was a big crop. We got owned.
Nice. That's wonderful.
That
All right,
is-
that is a great little game.
That is lovely.
Quite like that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that is about to be stolen by some org like tomorrow, by the way. Which Sentinels player are you? Is going to be on Reddit
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
It's a
Yeah,
good
I mean, I think that concludes the show and interview though as well. Boaster, thank you so much for coming on, man, as well. I really appreciate
Right.
the
Thank you.
insight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Thanks for having
very
me.
funny.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always nice to get the just the insight straight from the source, I think, because otherwise, I think I made this exact same claim last when we had Dapper on, but we are just literally just speculating wildly, usually, about different stuff. So it's nice to get the input from you guys, the players, and just people like actually ingrained into the scene to really, get the opinions and see what's going on. Yeah, really do appreciate it.
Are there any hints or little drops of juice you can give us about the interesting stuff that we could expect to see in the next EU tournament? I know you said you'd change your comps around. Is there anything you can hint towards?
I'm thinking. Let's just say we could be getting 13-0'd on Ascent nowadays. Yeah, instead of 13-1. All right.
Okay.
No,
All right, okay.
No, I'd say let's just say we take inspiration from all the scenes. There could be no sentinels. There could be no smokers. There could be no. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Just
You don't want to give
five
too
duelists.
much
You never
info.
know.
5
All right.
duelists.
There could be no summon in the finals. No, yeah. I mean, I can't reveal too much, but it's going to be exciting. So make sure you stay put and support. And that's it.
Looking forward to it. The EU events, I think, are going to be really
Yeah,
quite
gonna be a lot of
exciting.
fun.
Yeah, they really are. Well, thanks again, Boaster, for joining us. That's going to conclude the episode of Backchat. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a comment as well. Who do you want next? I mean, actually, we're not going to listen to any comments of who you want next because we've got Sean Garris coming up next.
Yeah.
So
But what about next?
What
the
a
next
man to follow.
Yeah, next we'll just get Boaster back on again. Just ignore the comments once more. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.